Hello again, and more candles and more beer, because this is a beer review of a beer I've never had at all, ever. So this is my Friday night, even though it's Sunday, but I have Mondays and Tuesdays off. So that's the way it is. I light the candles up. And it has been a long, long day at work. And I am ready for a cold brew. And I have some cold brew. And tomorrow, I have off. Hope to get the dog bathed and some other things. Giving that dog a bath is going to be a job. Maybe I'll make a video of it. He needs it. So the beer I'm doing is an IPA, an India Pale Ale, American, brewed in America. And it's brewed by Cigar City Brewing. I'll put it right there. There's a 12 pack that I bought at work after I got out of work. This is pronounced Jailai. This J-A-I-A-L-A-I is pronounced Jailai. And I had to look it up because I never heard, I didn't even know what language it is. But Jailai is actually a sport that's originated in the Basque region of Spain, and it uses a giant curved mitt. It's kind of an odd looking sport, but it's a Spanish sport, and you know the Cigar City Brewery is in Tampa, Florida, so they have that Hispanic Latino influence down in Tampa, Florida. I've never been there. You know, being close to Cigar City, you know, Havana, Cuba, you know, famous for their cigars. And so I guess they used to play in southern Florida, in Tampa, the sport Jailai. And it's kind of fallen out a bit. And I did some reading on the founders of Cigar City Brewery. And it was founded in 2007. And the founder, I didn't write his name down, but you can look it up if you want to know. He wanted to kind of pay a tribute to the sport Jailai. Again, a sport that originated in the Basque region in Spain. And I guess Latino areas are familiar with it, as they would be somewhat in Tampa, Florida, still to this day. So, on to the beer. This 12 pack cost me at Walmart in Auburn, New York. It cost me $18, pretty much $20 for a 12 pack, counting the deposit, nickel 5 cents on the can, and it's New York State tax, of course. The beer is 7.5% alcohol, which is right around where, you know, where an IPA would be, around that percent. It's not a weak beer by any means, not a terribly strong beer either, but it definitely has some hooch in it. 7.5, it's, if you compare it to like Budweiser, that's like 4.5 thereabouts. This is 7.5% alcohol. The IBUs, International Bitterness Units, in this beer are 65 IBUs, which means it's a fairly bitter beer. And they didn't say what hops they used in it, but they did say that they used 5 different hops. 5 different hops in this beer. And I wasn't going to drink this beer. I mean, first off, Cigar City, I'm sorry, I don't like smoking. I used to be a smoker, cigarettes, many years ago. I can't stand cigarettes. And cigars, you know, Cigar City. That was a little, it really isn't a big deal, but the name itself, Cigar City, it's like, ugh. I really can't stand cigarettes. They've killed a lot of people in my family, cigarette smoking. So, yeah, and you know, then there's alcohol. So, that was just a kind of a minor deterrent. Cigar City, the name, you know. But Jai Lai, I'm like, what is that? IPA? I mean, what language is that? I didn't know it. I think just the name and all. I guess I was a little bit prejudiced. Whatever you want to call it, but Cigar City, Jai Lai IPA. I didn't even know how to pronounce it. Jai Lai. That's how I was saying. Jai Lai. Cigar City Brewing. Ugh, doesn't sound good. But I kept looking every time I work in that store, and I look to see if they got any new beers. And they don't really have a very big beer department, Walmart. I read that the founder, Sam Walton, was dead set teetotaler against alcohol sales in his stores, and very reluctantly. The man died in the 90s, and they've just in recent years allowed alcohol sales in the form of beer in his stores in Walmart. And the beer department isn't exactly overwhelming. They have adequate, but I kept seeing this beer, and I got curious and I looked it up online and saw that this beer got really stellar ratings. So, you know, I found out it's brewed in Florida, Tampa, Florida. Did a little bit of research on it. Decided it was time to give this beer a shot. So I got out of work about an hour ago, and I don't know how cold this beer is. Let's get to the beer. Let's get to the beer. All right, let me get it open. God, I've been opening boxes all night long, stocking shelf, and I'm opening this box finally. Well, you know, I like the color. I like the color green, and I like the color gold. But this is kind of green and orange and different colors. My dog will probably carry on while I'm making this video, and I might have to get up and bribe him with a snack to, you know, calm down. All right. Here's the beer can. Oh, you can't see it. I keep trying to do this with this camera because it's one of the features of this camera, product showcase. So you should be able to get, it should zoom right in on this. Focus in, that is, not zoom. Oh, it's been a very long day. I'm going to set myself on fire. I keep saying that. That's the can. I don't know, I like packaging. That's very superficial of me, just like not wanting to buy it because it said Jai Lai Cigar City. That's pretty superficial of me too, but I don't care. It's my own taste. Alright, so let's have at it. I'll tell you how it is, what I think of it. I'll tell you just what I think of it. Jai Lai IPA. 7.5% alcohol, 65 IBUs. Brewed in Tampa, Florida, and going to be poured into my Made in Vermont Simon Pierce Windsor tankard, and then into my Made in America beer gut. Well, the color's fairly dark amber. I wouldn't call that a straw. Kind of got some orange in it. Hints of orange color. I like the color, honestly. That's why I drink out of a clear mug. If I'm drinking anything, any beer with character, I like to drink it out of a clear mug, and so I can look at the color. And we'll do the old candle thing. It smells pretty good. Fruity, kind of like tangerines. They did not put any fruit in this. I really don't like buying or drinking beer that has like different things like fruits and orange peels and mangoes and stuff in it. No, this just has barley, water, and hops and yeast, but 5 different hops, and I don't know what type, and they didn't say what type of barley either. So, yeah, my little prop area is getting kind of cluttered. It does have a nice smell to it, kind of spicy, actually. This is spicy. It's very spicy smell to it. Yeah, for once I gotta say, this beer, actually, the smell is actually a kind of a plus. You know, usually you know they're going to smell like grapefruit. It's an IPA. But this has a good, really good, spicy floral. You know, I don't want to use the terms that don't mean anything really when it comes to a smell. But it smells spicy and of tangerines, I'd say. Mango, tangerine. All right, well, on to the taste. Very agreeable. Oh, that's good. That's very good. So much for my waiting this long to try this beer. That is very good. This is not a light lager or a light beer. Not a heavy beer. By light, I mean it doesn't go down like water. You know, easy to drink, like a summer beer would be, where it would be very easy drinking. A light beer, light to the mouth, not very filling. This is not a light beer by any means. It's very good. It tastes a lot like it smells, kind of spicy, very spicy, peppery almost, like mangoes and tangerines, and like a peppery kind of taste to it as well. Oops. Oh, it's been a long day. A long day. A long, long day. You know, I may have another favorite IPA. This may be a favorite, a new favorite. This is really good. I have to tell you, I've never drank this until tonight, but I did read reviews on it, and that kind of was the final item that made me decide to go ahead and buy this and give it a shot, because the views on it are stellar. Reviews on ratebeer.com. Ratebeer.com, and there's beeradvocate.com on the internet, and I'm a member of these, but people chime in from all over the world and give a beer review rating on beers, and they're usually not too generous. They don't hand out 5 stars easily, or even 4 stars easily. They're stricter than I am. But I saw that this beer had a 95% thumbs up, you know, approval, and read some of the reviews, and everybody had nothing but good things to say about this as an IPA. So I must concur. Not a hard beer to drink. I said it wasn't an easy beer, but it's not exactly heavy either. It does drink, it's pretty smooth, pretty well balanced. I don't get the alcohol in it, the taste anyway. if you had a strong beer, even 7.5, that's right up there like malt liquor of the olden days, you know, Colt malt liquor, Colt 45, and some of those, where these were strong beers and they didn't put much hops in it. And that was an acquired taste because you could taste the alcohol right off the top. And you use the hops to balance the alcohol out so it doesn't come through. And as well as it's a preservative. And I want to talk about cans versus bottles. That's another, honestly, I know my favorite beer is Guinness Extra Stout, Guinness Foreign Stout, which I'm going to do a review, a comparison for St. Patty's, hopefully, God willing, of the two Foreign Extra Stout versus Extra Stout. And they come in a brown bottle. But I actually prefer a can because a can does not let any light in, and light will spoil a beer. If you've ever had a beer that tastes skunky like a Heineken, or some beers have a skunky taste to it and smell, and some people like that. There are people that like that. And some beers, a little bit of a skunkiness is kind of preferable, but it can also completely ruin it. That skunkiness comes from light. You know, it hits the hops and it oxidizes the hops and gives it that skunky smell, which too much of that can ruin a beer. So you won't find a skunky beer if it's served out of a keg or a can because light doesn't get through the aluminum. Which brings me to another selling point for canned beer. Green ecosystem. I read that something like all of the aluminum used today, all of it, is like some huge percentage. I think like 70-75% is recycled. And it's all recycled. It's totally reusable. You know, I recycle. I don't recycle paper too much. Plastics and aluminum I recycle religiously. So, you know, it's recyclable. You drop it, it doesn't break. It won't oxidize and turn the beer, give it off flavors. Now the brown glass in Guinness, that keeps a lot of the light out. And being a stout, the type of beer that it is, a dark beer, isn't really going to fall victim to too much of that oxidization. That if you like a Corona, they come in a clear bottle. I think that beer would oxidize pretty fast, but I never had a skunky Corona. I don't drink the beer, but I think that they just very careful about moving their inventory. But if you get a beer like from Germany in the old days, where they come here like Heineken from the Netherlands, and that beer might have been almost a year old by the time it reaches your table or your bar, wherever you're drinking it at, your cooler. And you get a lot of skunkiness in that because it's been all over the place, you know. Cans, right, doesn't break, totally renewable source, much more compact than bottles, lightweight, and unbreakable. So, yeah, I definitely prefer canned beer over bottled, you know, not really a big deal. I don't know why, I just thought I was going to put that out there. I'm going to do a review on beer mugs, what makes a good beer mug, in my opinion, at some point. I have really digressed here. This beer is pretty darn good. It's honestly my top, among my top 3 IPAs. And if I want to drink an IPA, I definitely would buy this beer again, definitely. And if you like IPAs and you have not had this beer, whoop, I don't need to do that. Burn my armpit. If you have not had this beer, you need to try it. If you like IPAs, you owe it to yourself to try this beer. And it's pronounced Alai, and that's a Spanish sport from the Basque region. I think that's in northern Spain. Next to France, where I hope to go this year. And if I do, I'll definitely do some beer reviews for you in France. Maybe even some... I'm not qualified to do a wine review in France. No way. Well, why not, huh? I'm a human being. I don't have to be a wine snob to be able to do a review on a bottle of wine. I hope to do a lot of things in the coming year, but man plans, but God has his plans for us. You know, this is a good beer from Cigar City Brewery. I guess all their beers have won a lot of awards. Their master brewer, he's the same guy I read. I'm sorry I didn't take down names, but 2007, he's still their master brewer. He knows what he's doing, because this is a pretty good beer. I'll tell you what, if you like beer, and if you like IPA, you would definitely want to plant your lips on some of this, because this is good brew. Yeah. What else? I was gonna do a beer review on a different beer that I bought a while back, a 6-pack of toasted Bock beer and Leinenkugel's out of Texas, toasted Bock. And I didn't do that. Actually, the beers I've had from them, I have not liked. I just don't like, I think they know what they're doing. I just don't like their recipe, you know. Brewing is a recipe. It all is. It's recipes and good ingredients, good recipes, good practice. And brewing practice makes good beer. But it's a recipe. And just like I don't like mincemeat cake, and some people do, and I don't like walnuts in my Jell-O, and some people do. You know, I don't like Leinenkugel's beers, but I've never had their toasted Bock beer, which is brown Bock, which is a German style. It should be very straw-colored amber. I was going to do that tonight, because I've got it sitting in my fridge. But for some reason, I just don't want to open that up. It's like, I don't want a toasted Bock beer from Texas. That's where it's brewed. I'm in the mood for an IPA. What happened today at work that was outstanding? Nothing good, other than I worked hard. I work with somebody that is very lazy. And if I notice something, you know, I'm pretty much, aside from having the spiritual stuff that I talk about and other things about me, makes me a little bit of, as my son put it, a character. If I notice something, other people have noticed it. And I notice this person is extremely lazy. They're supposed to be part of a team, and they just blatantly don't like to work. Well, somebody else commented on the same thing about this person, and the supervisors really loaded them down with a lot of work. You know, they got involved. What else? Oh, I got kind of yelled at. I got yelled at I was using my phone. I was on my cell phone when I'm out working on the floor, and my manager, one of the managers, said, "Hey," he says, "back room with that." You know, fair enough, right? I'm like, yeah, it was kind of embarrassing. So, hey, I'm not too old to be yelled at. So I got yelled at work. He not really yelled at, but he says, "Hey." He didn't say, "Hey," he just got my attention with his eyes. And he said, "back room." And he meant back room if you're going to do phone calls. Just go out of, you know, don't be doing this out on the floor around people. He was totally right. So I got a pretty thick hide. It didn't bother me any. I won't do that again. Or if I do, I'll make darn sure he's not around. You know, I'll tell you what, something I've noticed, if I ever get around to doing my coverage of Angel, Berlin Angel, Undi Hexen, a very exceptional person that I knew. She was just a human being, but she had a paranormal side to her that I've never seen before, definitely. But she was just a human being, honestly, and so am I. And I've seen God's angels, you've seen my stories, but I'm just human. And you know, I get yelled at for work for screwing up, and I make mistakes. But this beer is not a mistake. I'm finding that out. I like the color, huh? It's kind of a groovy, kind of orange, groovy. Orange and nice color to it. Enjoying the simple things in life. You know, it's been quite a year for me. Oh, let me not fail to mention the lace. All that white, that's lace. If you don't know, this is called lace. And lace is a good thing. Actually, when you've got lace in your mug, when you're drinking, it tells you that the beer's, it's a good thing. It says it's got a good creamy head, full-bodied, and very balanced. I don't know. Lace is preferable. Tells you you've got a really good brewed beer when you've got lace in the mug like this. Well, let me finish this beer and finish this video. Wait a second. That's not the whole can. My dog. You know, one of these days I'm going to do a review on Basset Hounds, and this poor guy has, you know, they're so adorable. His legs are like that long, and he's like 65-pound dog. He's actually a bloodhound with short legs. That's what Basset Hounds are. You take a bloodhound and shrink their legs down to like that, and you got a Basset. And it causes a lot of problems to these dogs. Honestly, he's got a beautiful soul, and but he has a lot of skin problems and ear problems. And tomorrow he's going to go get a bath. He's right here. I gotta give him some attention. Sorry, I think I caught a little buzz off these beers already. I haven't eaten much today at all. I'll be done here in a minute, buddy. Oh, I gotta get him a snack. Ah! God, secret weapon. Ah! There you go, pal. Oh, man. Well, he's happy. That's his, like, secret weapon, you know, just shake that head and slobber flies everywhere. And I have read, you know, on websites about Basset Hounds that some people claim that slobber will take paint off things. I don't know. If you want a dog that has a lot of character, but it's going to require a lot of attention and help, Basset Hound. I mean, anymore, I've got to help him in and out of the house. He's only 6.5 years old, time of this recording. And they have a lot of problems, honestly. They need a lot of help. I think all those dogs, like, I know this is a beer review, but I think all those dogs that they inbred, kind of like an English bulldog with a barrel-shaped flat face. As cute as they are, they're not very healthy dogs. Really, in a way, it's almost inhumane to do that because they have a beautiful soul. I mean, a dog's a dog, like a person's a person. You can't judge it by the cover, but they're not very healthy at all. They're very challenged, and if you own one of these dogs, I call them a designer dog, a basset hound's a product of French monks in the 13th century, to turn a bloodhound into something shorter, more suitable to hunt rabbits. Long story behind that. They're not very healthy dogs. They're going to require a lot of love and hands-on care. And their life expectancy is not that great either. The basset hound's like 12 years. On to the beer. Oh my God, what a week it's been. That is good beer. That, my friends, my friends, is great beer. Forget good. This is really good. Great. It's been that kind of a day for me, honestly. What a great beer to finish it off with. Europe's shaking his head. That's his ears are bothering him. When dogs shake their heads like that, their ears are bothering them. And when he does that, it bothers me because I don't like to know that he's suffering. And he's like, clean him up. I want to give him his ears, clean his ears for him again. He doesn't even know it. It's just a way of life for him. He's not even cognizant of it. Not like he's complaining. It's just business as usual. I don't know, if you all read these near-death NDE stories, I read them. And I did a video on them. And I don't believe everything I read. But I keep reading about pets, meeting your pets in heaven. And if I meet him, I hope he won't have any skin problems. But he'll definitely be there because he's a good kind of guy. He's right here, not in the picture. I have encountered animal spirits, not often. Dogs and cats. I can think of 3 times I've encountered spirits of cats, and once a spirit of a dog, one time that I can remember, definitely, and somebody else did too. In fact, with the cat spirits, the 3 times with the cats, I wasn't the only one to experience this. So they've got a soul, but this poor guy suffers with his skin problems, and tomorrow we're going to hopefully help take care of that. Come on, pal, let me finish this video. Well, he sits here. When I'm at work, he's here all alone. Oh, he wants some loving. Thinking about getting a cat, but I'm not sure what I'm doing in 2022. My plans, that is. I think I'm going to move. I might leave this town and move. So I don't want another pet to take along. I'm sorry I'm a little out of it. It's just been that kind of a long day. And I wanted to do a beer review. I wanted to do a video on the topic of forgiveness. Obviously, I won't be drinking a beer when I do that. But I've read that Jesus liked to drink his wine, his beer. I don't think it's that big of a deal unless you really go overboard with it. But I want to do a video on forgiveness. And there's so many aspects to that, a very big topic. Like trying to cover the topic of love. That's a big one. To cover the topic of forgiveness, actually, is pretty big. Not as big, but it's pretty big. And I came up with a list of things that I want to cover. Because I say the Lord's Prayer every morning. That's the prayer Jesus gave us. And I take it piece by piece and I contemplate every part of the Lord's Prayer when I say it. And when I come to forgive me of my sins, as I forgive those who have sinned against me, I have to do some soul searching at that point. And lo and behold, I have never come up with a complete clean slate that I have forgiven everybody. There's usually one or two or three that I'm working on. And sometimes, honestly, you can't lie to God, you can't lie to yourself in prayer. And so you got to be honest about it, and I'm working on that. I'm thinking, well, I really haven't forgiven this person, and I'm still pretty mad at this person. But I'm working on it, and I ask God to help me to learn to forgive like Jesus did, who was the master of forgiveness. I mean, Jesus Christ that's where Christianity completely differs from all other religions. Completely differs. Totally from all of them. That the forgiveness of sins, and Christ died on the cross just for us. Buddha didn't die on the cross for us. Muhammad didn't die on the cross for us. Never would they done that. Jesus did. So, Christianity, I have really digressed. I'm planning on undertaking the topic of forgiveness from as many different angles as I can think of. But I wanted to do a beer review tonight because I'm not really ready to take on something that deep. But I'm looking forward to it, honestly. All right, so this beer, Jai Lai, that's how it's pronounced, and I looked it up. It's pronounced Jai Lai, and actually that's what I get off the internet. It's pretty good beer. If you like IPA, get this. You will not regret it. Boy. Alright, I gotta go. Dog is trying to tell me enough's enough, Tim. Oh my God. That is a true brew. This is really good. Honestly, this is my top 3 for IPAs. Maybe top 2. This is very good. Look at the lace. Speaks of every drink. Oops. I'll screw that up. Alright. Jai Lai IPA out of Tampa, Florida. Yes, I will definitely buy this beer again. It's excellent. Thank you. God bless you. And thank you for putting up with my prattle here.